When you hear Jewish wedding, you might envision the hora, a chuppah, a smashed glass. And sure, most, if not all Jewish weddings incorporate those traditions.
Mazel tov!
But here's the thing about Jews. We're diverse, and we've developed lots of different traditions over time. This is a Sephardi bride preparing for her wedding, and this is an Ashkenazi bride. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So what are the major differences between Ashkenazi and Sephardi weddings? Number 1, the Ashkenazi aufruf versus the Sephardi Shabbat Chatan. Think a wedding is a one-night only affair?
One night only.
Think again.
Oh, I guess that's cool.
On the Shabbat before the wedding, Ashkenazim host an aufruf for the groom, inviting him to recite the blessings before the Torah reading. Meanwhile, the bride's family and friends host a Shabbat Kala, or bridal Shabbat, with sweets and treats in her honor. Since many Ashkenazi couples follow a tradition of not seeing each other the week before the wedding, this Shabbat is a good chance for them to spend quality time with their friends and family. Some Sephardi couples continue to see each other the week before the wedding. Plus, the Sephardi groom is honored at the Shabbat after the wedding, with his new wife by his side. This Shabbat is called the Shabbat Chatan, the groom's Shabbat, though some people call it the Avram sees, a nod to the special Torah reading where Avram seeks a wife for his son. Whether the groom is Ashkenazi, Sephardi, or a mix, the groom is sure to be pelted with candies after he recites the blessing to represent a sweet future. Number 2, the mikvah, private or party? The ritual preparations don't end there. A few days, or even the night before the wedding, Jewish brides visit a ritual bath called the mikvah. Ashkenazi communities generally treat this as a private moment. Usually, only the bride's mother or mother-in-law accompany her. For Sephardi women, however, the first dip in the mikveh is a full-on rite of passage, and they celebrate it as such. In Ladino, it's known as La Noche de la Novia, the night of the sweetheart, or Baño de la Novia, the bath of the bride. The mikveh party is an all-women celebration, complete with festive songs and trays full of sweet marzipan cookies, dates, fruits, and nuts galore. Historically, this was a night of drinking, drumming, and dancing, when married women would convey advice to the new bride through movement and music. It's a wonderful chance for the bride to celebrate this moment of transition with the women in her life. And many Ashkenazi Israeli brides have adopted the festivities as well. Number 3, the Sephardi henna celebration. Right before the wedding, many Sephardic communities throw a henna party. It's a celebration that really has no equivalent among Ashkenazi.
We don't really do that.
It's a time for family and friends to bless the bride and groom, to wish them health, good luck, fertility, and to protect them against the evil eye. Exact rituals vary widely among communities, but you can expect plenty of music, dancing, and lots of food. I'm talking Yemenite jahnoun and malawah, sweet Moroccan marzipan cookies, Iraqi haji bada almond cookies. The couple typically dresses according to their community's traditional attire, from the Yemenite tashbuk headdress to the Moroccan fez hat to the Indian sari. Each community has different traditions. There's a Yemenite custom for the grandmothers of the bride and groom to circle a fresh egg around the couple's heads to bless them with fertility. During Moroccan henna parties, the couple invites someone whose marriage they admire to apply their henna. Kurdish Jews customarily henna a small boy and girl to serve as decoys for the bride and groom in order to confuse the evil eye. And the Bene Israel Indian Jewish community's Mendi ceremony, which includes a variety of symbolic objects, like a 7-wicked lamp for protection, rice for fertility, candies for a sweet marriage, coconut for nourishment, and coins for prosperity. Suffice to say, it's quite the party. Number 4, fasting versus feasting. Not only do Sephardim and Ashkenazim prepare differently before the wedding, but they also have an entirely different approach to the wedding day itself. The Talmud states that when a couple gets married, their sins are forgiven if they go through a process of repentance. Ashkenazim interpret this to mean that the wedding day is a personal Yom Kippur of the bride and groom, a day of atonement. And what do we do on Yom Kippur? We fast.
Nothing for you!
Unlike on Yom Kippur, the bride and groom only fast from sunrise till after the wedding ceremony. Like on Yom Kippur, the couple recites a special vidui, or confession, and the groom wears a white cotton robe called a kittel that evokes a burial shroud to remind him that life is fleeting. When the bride and groom stand under the chuppah and bind themselves to each other, they transform from two individuals into a new, complete soul. It's a weighty moment, one that the two need to approach seriously, making sure that they are as holy and pure as possible. There's also a more practical reason for fasting. In order for a Jewish marriage to be legit, the couple has to consent with full awareness.
My eyes were wide open.
So no last-minute vodka shots for the Ashkenazi groom getting cold feet. Sephardim, on the other hand, interpret the Talmud statement differently. Yes, the wedding day is an opportunity for repentance. But that's a reason to celebrate. For Sephardim, the wedding is not a day of solemn consideration of one's deeds. It's a day when the bride and groom are supposed to enjoy a nice meal and pray enthusiastically. Number 5, veiling and unveiling. You would think the ceremony itself would be pretty consistent across Jewish communities, right? Well, think again. While all traditional Jewish weddings follow the same basic formula, different communities add or subtract various customs. Like the Ashkenazi bedekin. Before the chuppah ceremony officially begins, the Ashkenazi groom's friends and family dance him over to his bride, who is sitting on a special chair or throne. The groom greets his bride and then places a veil over her face, and she remains veiled until the end of the ceremony. The custom harks back to biblical times, when Jacob was tricked by his father-in-law into marrying the wrong sister. In order to prevent any confusion from happening again, the groom checks that the woman before him is in fact his bride, and places the veil on her himself. In Sephardi weddings, the equivalent of the bedekin ceremony happens here. As the bride walks down the aisle, the groom meets her halfway. There he places the veil over her, and then together they walk to the chuppah. Number 6, the chuppah. The chuppah is one of the most visually familiar symbols of a Jewish wedding. But even the chuppah has differed between Sephardi and Ashkenazi communities. The chuppah represents the couple's home, historically, the groom's home that he would bring his bride into. While Ashkenazim have always used a physical structure as the chuppah, Sephardim have a custom where the groom wraps his bride with his talit. According to many Sephardi rabbis, this act of bringing her into his space actually counts as the chuppah. Still, many Sephardim do use the four-poled structure today as well. Number 7, time alone, together. The ceremony ends. The groom steps on the glass, and all the guests shout, Mazel Tov. Among song and dance, the Ashkenazi bride and groom usually go off to a room by themselves, the yichud room, where they share a private moment. There, they typically break their fast and embrace for the first time as a married couple.
Well, that's a first.
Sephardim, on the other hand, they prefer to keep their private time, well, private, reserving the couple's alone time for the end of the night.
You know what I'm talking about.
Either way, both Ashkenazi and Sephardi couples will spend the rest of the night in a full-on party. This is truly the time for each community to shine with their own unique dances and music. From the Hasidic mitzvah dance to the Yemenite step to the mazinka and everything in between, a wedding is the pinnacle of cultural expression. It's no wonder that Sephardi and Ashkenazi weddings often look so different. Even the term Sephardi is a catch-all term, with tons of distinct groups with distinct customs within it. With so many different traditions, it's impossible to define what any single Ashkenazi or Sephardi wedding might look like. And whereas once upon a time, weddings between Ashkenazim and Sephardim were actually considered intermarriage,
Oh, scandalous.
today, Sephardim and Ashkenazim from all backgrounds unite and find unique ways to blend each of their family's traditions, adding even more beauty to the Jewish wedding.